Hi students, today I'm going to run through the marble exercise, and this is the image that you've all been given of the kitchen. So first step is to render pretty much all of the surfaces in this Copic E40 brick white. So that's the lightest colour grey, and it ends up this sort of creamy white. So you'll see on this image that I've gone over all of the white areas with that. We've got some bar stools in the front. The main thing we're going to concentrate today on is actually the pencil technique for doing the marble texture. But anyway, this is one that I've started to do earlier, and I'm just going to show you here. So essentially we're going to use one of our, this is warm grey 1, and so under the bench here we've just got to add in the shading for that, so I'm just going to put that in. So like so. And then where the bar stools are, so everywhere in behind these is going to be in the shade. All our shadow in here. And you've also got some other areas where we need to put a second layer. So for example, over in this back corner, so now this hasn't got the white on, but I'm just going to show you that we put some extra shading in there. Perhaps I'll bring this one over and have a look. So here you'll see I've done a little bit of extra. This is just with the Copic white, so into those areas where it needs to have a little bit of shadow, because obviously there's no light, you can just bring another layer of that in. Now you also see in this photo that they've got some brass light fittings here. So anything that's tubular, like here, so essentially all I did there is I used my warm grey 2 and I just added in a strip of the grey. It just gives that sense of being metallic because you've got a little bit of highlight and a little bit of grey. And then over top of that we can actually just add in a bit of yellow pencil, and so that's going to give us that effect of brass. So anything metallic is always going to have highlights and lowlights. In the case of this, brass has got a sort of a yellowy tone to it, and so all of these, those sort of elements, and you can finish these ones as well. So that's just brass. And now we can have a look at these stools. So what I did here is I used the warm grey 2, and just pick that up again, warm grey 2, and I'm just going to add extra shading where I need it on my legs. I'm going to just grab my photo so I can see what I'm trying to replicate, because some of this is in shadow. So just using that grey marker again underneath first, like so. So that's just the standard technique that we've been using all along. It's just using the grey for our shadows. So now I'm going to bring this over top, and essentially you're going to add that richness and that extra sort of grain using your pencil. So this is just a raw umber pencil which has got quite a good colour to it, and so you can just add in, I'm going to use a little bit extra at the back here because it's slightly darker here where there's a little bit of shading because it's sitting under the bench. So essentially that's the technique you're going to use. Just to do these stools. So always using grey and then pencil, and then if you want, if it's not dark enough, we can always put another layer of grey over top. So we can just keep alternating between the grey and the pencil, and you can use, if you wanted to, you could use a different shade of pencil. You could have another darker one on top too if you need to. So that's roughly the technique for using our stools. I haven't got this completely complete, but I'll leave it at that for the moment. So now if we have a look, if you can see this image here, so marble has always got this very organic grain. It doesn't have a real sort of regular pattern to it, but essentially I'm just going to try and replicate this over here. So I've got a very soft grey, soft warm grey pencil, and just very softly where we've already got the grain that's in the light pencil underneath, you're just going to very softly put that in. And so you'll notice when you look at the image that some of the areas are light, and then others where that grain is quite dark, you can just essentially go a little bit heavier with your line. But that's all marble is. It's just using pencil over top of your marker, and it's very sort of got quite a sort of flowing effect to it. Now on the bench top, obviously this is different because it's a horizontal surface, but again you'll see that this grain here is running across and then onto the bench top here. So you can just keep it, again, just keep it soft, and just little strokes, but just keep it delicate. You don't want it too heavy. You can see obviously there are lots and lots of different marble effects. If you had a black marble bench, you would probably use like a warm grey 10 marker underneath, or a very dark charcoal, and then you might use a white pencil over top to give you the same effect, but so you'd have the white over the dark base. Granite is a little bit different because granite essentially is more spotty. It's got sort of chips and stones and various things in it. But essentially that's all we need to do here is just, and again if I'm wanting to add in here, if I needed to, I can get a darker pencil, like a black pencil. If I've got some other areas that I want to darken up, I could do that. But essentially that's our technique. So I'm just going to leave it like that for the moment. And then obviously you've got things like a glass tumbler. I've just kept that the same colour as the bench top underneath. And then essentially I can just use a pencil to add in my ribs there. You'll see that there's a stainless steel bench here, so I've used warm grey 3 I think for that. And here we've got our stainless steel tapware, and again it's using the grey marker so that you've got one side, a line down one side, but we're always showing a bit of a highlight, and that just helps you to recognise that it's stainless steel. So hopefully that will give you enough for the moment. You'll see I've used a cool grey over here for the stainless steel, which is this hob, and then there's here looks like a bit of a gas hob and some black handles for our door. But essentially just do everything in marker, using your grey tones, and then using your pencil to do your timber work, and your soft grey pencil to do your marble. And that's all you need to worry about with the marble. Thank you.